Yeah, we're
not
recording.
live. Are we live?
We're live.
We're live this time?
We're live
Oh,
right
shit.
now. Yeah, we're live.
Oh my God. I'm getting stage fright.
How do I cycle through? Oh, I cycle through here. And welcome to the Wolf and Bull podcast. I'm not doing this again. No, that's not.
That was awesome.
That
was freaking awesome.
It's too much.
I could almost hear the cheer from the crowd coming up.
Well, I mean, we guess we could do the cheer if I were just to remember where it is. You know,
I can feel the adrenaline flowing. It's just, I feel like this is like my first time out when I was in the middle of that play Hamilton that I starred in.
Oh yeah, that was you.
Oh, yes. That was you?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You were the
I was
you were the king, right?
You were the culturally ambiguous character that was
George.
originally just a white man.
Yeah.
Culturally, yes, that's exactly what he
culturally ambiguous.
That play's amazing, by the way.
I enjoyed the play. I enjoyed watching it.
You watched it on it's on Disney Plus now. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So good. Lin-Manuel Miranda is a genius.
What's the song?
He is quite. What did I see him in?
The King. Oh,
I saw him in
You'll
something.
You'll be back.
Yeah, that song.
Soon you'll see.
It was very good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah. You saw him in that one. He did that one.
The
Bronx
Bronx one, which was I enjoyed that too.
Yeah. What was that one called?
I like musicals. I hate to say it. I'm old enough now where I can fully admit I like musicals. Of course, I've always liked music. I like Grease.
It's really flamboyant of you.
Grease is great.
Grease is awesome. Grease
I would actually
hey, you know what Grease
like
is?
To watch Grease again.
Grease is the word.
The word, it's the word
Thank
that
you.
you heard.
Thank
it's
you.
that groove. It's got
Okay. All right. Okay. Should I jump into the intro that I was going to do a second ago and
go
just
for
do
it.
the music? And we're back to the Wolf and Bull. Welcome to the Wolf and Bull podcast. My name is Wolf. I have to find out where my button is. Oh, there it is. And then we also have the Bull sitting across from me.
Yes, he's here.
That's actually a deer.
What is
It's
that?
A deer. I couldn't find.
You got
a
me
bull
sounding
sound.
like a deer. What the hell? Is that an elk?
It's a bull.
Did it get shot by or ate by a wolf? What is that?
It's a bull sound. And then across from both of us, perched way over there, is the lovely, the wonderful Baewolf.
I don't
a
have
woman
a sound.
of mystery, intrigue.
You don't have
and
a sound?
No.
Limitless intelligence.
What
Okay,
is a Beowulf anyway?
I just thought it was a clever play on
character
real
from-
words.
It's a character in a very ancient novel.
I know,
A
but
novel.
B-A-E, as in my Bae.
Wouldn't that classify as a
That was-
poem?
yeah.
Like an epic poem?
It was an epic
It was.
poem.
It was like they don't even know the author. I don't believe on that one.
Do they not?
Yeah,
That wasn't that a monster in a cave basically?
Yeah, pretty sure they know the author on that one.
Righto.
No,
They have a book.
no, they don't.
Well,
Well, I definitely read whatever it was in high school
me too.
at some point.
Yeah.
I never read it.
Well, just a quick reminder for our listeners: if you like what you hear and see, and want our team to continue creating this content, then make sure to give us a follow on Instagram, a like on any one of the episodes or posts that we put up, and a 5-star rating on any Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music that just said podcasts there. Just like on podcasts. Our team has been overhauling some of the projects here, so we're excited for the future, and we now have proper lighting for the studio, which is nice.
That is.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's bright in here.
I can feel my skin tones just leaping like right off me.
I can feel my skin
see
burning.
This giant bruise on my leg in full Technicolor.
How did you get that bruise?
I ran into a piece of furniture.
You've been pointing to that bruise every day.
You're supposed to avoid
It
pieces of
hurts.
furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Furniture avoidance is a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
4th of July bruise.
America is a bruise.
Mm-hmm.
America, congratulations once again on having a birthday.
Yeah.
We're getting there, guys. We're
Getting up
you know
there.
what?
We're elderly now.
Yeah, we made it. Yeah,
You're elderly? What the hell am I then? Apparently.
this thing's so
Somebody loves his toys.
fun. It's so fun. Yeah. So, welcome to the Wolf and Bull. This is episode 54. 54. And I think we should jump into the monologue. We've been through 54 episodes.
Go for it.
Log Samano.
Books are uniquely portable magic. This quote by Stephen King always reminds me of how much better of an author he is, rather than the outspoken political Twitter talking head that he's become. By the looks of me, you would probably think the only things I read are the ingredients listing on a case of protein, college humor articles, if they're even still around, or the fantasy football rankings released each year by sports analysts whose accuracy is comparable to the stormtroopers in the original Star Wars trilogy. You would be correct about all of those things. But I also have the affinity for the highest form of fiction writing, horror. I absolutely love horror books.
Do you really?
I do. I do.
does.
I've been
How do you
reading
read
quite a bit of them. I don't sleep.
I was going to say, those,
Never
you
sleep.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only really read one serious horror book, and it was Amityville Horror.
That's a scary book.
You've only read one? Because you watched
maybe,
a lot of horror
Maybe
movies.
I've read a couple. Yeah, you know what? Books are way scarier to me than
They are. That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah,
than the movies.
The quote itself from Stephen King, who's probably one of the most prolific, if not, he's got to be, I don't know. He's got to be ranked up there.
I've read some Stephen. Yeah. I've read Stephen King books,
but his quote, "Books are uniquely portable magic," I think is a fantastic quote. As much as a knucklehead as he can be, that quote is true. I mean, if you've enveloped yourself in a book, you can get lost in it real quick.
Well, he does a really good job with all that. And one of my favorite authors, but I've read almost all of his books, and I can't reread them. I don't like rereading books unless it's a trilogy thing, and I forget what's going on and quit. But yeah, I recently finished 2 fantastic books for our listeners. The first, called The Troop, by Nick Cutter, which is about a government-created intestinal parasite superworm that eats alive a scout troop of teenage boys as they spend a few days on an island with their scoutmaster in Canada. If you can imagine Alien meets Lord of the Flies plus Stephen King, that is pretty much how it went. There were some moments. The second book I just finished last night, called My Best Friend's Exorcist, written by Grady Hendrix, is what I would imagine Stranger Things would be had it not been written by lazy millennials, riding on the coattails of nostalgia supplied by previous generational pop culture masterpieces. That is my opinion, and
music
I'm
is
sticking with
everything.
It's all music. Take the music away, and it's absolutely hilarious, especially when Vecna
music
shows
and
up.
Honestly, some very good acting. I've seen some of the kids.
Some of them
really good.
Yeah,
it's just funny though, is they were so small in that first season, and now some of them are they were once boys, and now they're men. So I'm trying to listen to them talk, and I'm that's supposed to be a freshman in high school.
Yeah, they're 20, 29
No,
years
they're
old.
Fantastic though. I quite like the show.
I thought it was very well. I thought the characters were very realistic. That some of the dialogue for the kids to the adults, as a matter of fact, or to each other, kind of hit home. Kind of was real to me.
Well, I like the show, but you're right. The music.
That's because they're playing on your nostalgia-filled coattails.
Well, I mean,
they play. I mean,
yep.
They're actually. I hate to say it, but those characters are slightly younger, even in those particular years than I was at that time. But still, right around the same age category.
Well, the only reason why millennials have to do the things that we do is because of the ridiculous copyright and trademark laws. So it's everybody else's fault, apparently.
Did you know that Mickey Mouse is Disney's trademark? I know they'll never let it go,
happen.
But it's up next year, the year after.
Never will happen ever.
They will never let it go.
So Baewolf and I once stayed at the Queen Mary, an out-of-commission 1936 ocean liner that's said to be incredibly haunted and moored off the beach of an even more haunting and disturbing city of of Long Beach. Homeless, needles, high taxes, no parking. Nothing is scarier, frankly, except maybe haunted hotels. And this was all spawned by these books that I've been reading. Welcome to the third part of Supernatural Stories, a.k.a. also known as Supernatural Spooks. We're talking about some spooky hotels.
By the way, shout out to Long Beach. I was there last week, and they've got some nice little refurbished areas, but they're all very concentrated around where they have the conventions, etc.
Well, I like Long Beach for the most part, but yes,
you haven't been.
Questionable.
Don't go about 2 blocks over.
I remember when I really wanted to go to Long Beach State. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And I toured it, and there's some good areas, there's some bad areas, but that's not too different from most cities.
You know what used to be out there? One of the other very ghostly things, the largest airplane ever. Nobody knows what that is?
No.
Who's one of the most famous aviators of all time?
Tom Cruise.
The richest, other than Maverick.
Tom Cruise.
Other than Maverick.
Charles Lindbergh?
No, well, he's very famous too. No, very rich, very eccentric.
Tony Stark.
No.
Howard Court.
No, are you talking about the Virgin Atlantic
what's his
guy?
name? Howard.
No, his last name was Howard.
Jordan Howard, the running back from the Colts. Jordan Howard.
No, I was going to say Hugh Hefner, but that's not. He flew all kinds of things, but they weren't planes. Anyway,
who are you talking about?
Howard Cosell.
No, Howard Cosell. Hugh Hefner. No, God, I said it again.
Hugh Jackman.
No, Huge Jackman.
Huge Stackman.
No, I want to say Hugh Hefner.
Sorry, the bull is having a moment, guys.
I'm having a bull moment.
Yes.
No. That's really mean of him.
Howard, what are you talking about?
Who's one of the most famous, eccentric people of all times? Very rich. Howard. Not
Taft?
Purcell, not Taft. Hugh Howard.
Hugh Howard is his name. Are you sure?
You know, I hope this makes
Huey
the cut.
Lewis in the news.
I have no idea
No,
who that
it's
is.
the
Huey
goose.
Lewis.
The goose was there.
Yeah, from
Not
Top
from
Gun.
Maverick.
Top
Not that
Gun.
goose. He
died.
didn't make
He's
it.
the ghost.
No, they've got it up in Seattle now. It was the large. It barely got off the ground at the time. It was called the something goose. You know, if any of us had our phones with us, or a computer, you would be able to look this shit up.
A famous
Man, our
aviator.
we have some technical problems.
How to
Hey,
deal
where's
with
Betty?
memory
Where's Betty,
loss.
our assistant?
To deal
What was her
with
name? Betty?
memory.
I never get her name right. What's her
memory
name?
Loss.
Howard.
And how
Becky?
to deal with
Becky,
memory
Betsy?
loss.
Howard Hughes?
So
Thank
have
you.
to-
Thank you very much.
you have to-
Howard
You
Hughes.
have to include physical
I had
activity.
Hugh Hefner. I had Hugh Howard. I had Hugh
I have
Lewis
no
in the news. It
idea
was Howard Hughes.
we
who
need to
this
have you
is.
start
Howard Hughes.
socializing
And it
more.
was what was his famous plane?
I don't know.
Look it up, girl.
the choked goose.
No, that was the choked. No, forget it. I'm going to leave that.
No,
alone too.
drop it. Say it.
What,
Say
the
it.
choke
Say
chicken?
It. Say
The
it.
spruce goose.
Thank you. The spruce goose.
It's still just as questionable.
You guys have no idea what that is, do
no,
you?
no, not at
No.
all. Nope.
You guys
I
are ridiculous.
never heard that
for
in my
being history
life.
buffs, I'm really ashamed. I'm
I
ashamed to be sitting in the same room. Of course, I
object.
couldn't get the name right, but that's
I
beside the point.
object. I am not
You're objectionable.
ridiculous. I am not ridiculous.
Yes, you
So
do. You
this-
have USS.
So
No,
the
I don't.
spruce goose was in Long
Uncirculated
Beach.
silly
is that-
syndrome.
Uncontrollable.
Uncontrollable.
Okay.
Incontinence?
Incontinentable.
Incontinentable silly syndrome.
The spruce goose.
Was it in Long Beach?
Yes, it was housed in Long Beach, right next to the Proud Mary. The Proud Mary. No, that kept burning. Sorry, that was totally something different with Tina Turner. But
Where are you? What is going on?
I've had a
One
beverage.
sip of an IPA and you don't know where you are. I looked up how to deal with memory loss.
but I don't remember what it said.
I forgot. Oh my God. Well, yeah, we're talking about haunted hotels and apparently oversized gooses.
The ghost of Howard Hughes was there on the Proud Mary.
No, Queen
Mary.
On the Proud Queen Mary.
I really hope the ghost of Howard Hughes is not on a Proud Mary somewhere. That's an inappropriate.
He was
Inappropriate.
pretty eccentric.
Well, you're right. We did stay on the Queen Mary a couple years ago.
We did. And
2018.
well, we
I think.
have to provide our
you said
listeners.
a couple. That's 4 years ago now.
Yeah, 2018.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was for my birthday because I'm a dork. I'm a nerd.
I said,
You
"What do you
did
want
that
to do
for-
for your birthday?" And he
And
said,
he
"I
said,
would
let's
like
want to stay on the Proud Mary.
Queen.
the Queen Mary."
Queen Mary.
Very proud of herself.
He said he
Queen
wanted
Mary.
to spend the
Mary.
night on the Queen Mary.
I did.
So there's a. I mean, I think they hold like proms and stuff there a lot, but they
do.
also it's a hotel.
Yeah. Well, we have to give our listeners some background. Otherwise, they're going to think that we're speaking about Proud Mary, which I think is a song from the 60s.
Oh, come on now. You guys know that song.
Yes,
We do know that song.
I do know. That
I wouldn't be
You
able to
gotta keep
recite it,
rolling.
though. Yeah, I wouldn't be.
Rolling on the...
What did you
Proud
spike?
Mary.
Did you spike his drink?
No, he's just
you
he's
put it
just
some- you
jovial.
just put
I'm
his-
having...
happy?
I'm
Jovial
having
bull.
I think your silly syndrome is contagious.
He's ready. He's ready for the holidays. Apparently.
I feel like it's Christmas. It's
It's
Christmas in July.
definitely
but
not.
It is July
Thousands.
6th.
1,000 degrees.
We're halfway through the year.
Is 1,000 degrees.
The year is... I don't know, it's just been as effed up as every year in the last 2 years. I was going to say that has been crazy.
I was hoping for some uplifting rhetoric just there,
Yeah, the
but
year is,
instead it was
no,
like
I
just as shitty as it used to be. It's just as bad as it's always been. There have been no changes. I am depressed.
There's some changes, all right. Changes are coming.
changes are coming.
Changes.
Well, Spooky Hotel number one. The cat's out of the bag. It's gonna be a surprise. It's gonna be for you guys. It's the Queen Mary. Just some background for our listeners. Construction on the Queen Mary began in 1930 in Clydebank, Scotland. Despite the downturns of the 30s caused by an economic worldwide shutdown that every Wait, no, that's wrong. No, the Great Depression.
1929.
Yeah, the Great Depression. Sorry, I got 2020 and
same thing.
1930 confused. Cunard Line, the company behind the construction, spared no expense on building Queen Mary, known to them as job number 534.
You should also clarify to anyone listening who doesn't know, the Queen Mary is a boat.
It is a floating hotel, also known.
So it could have been
as a
rolling
boat.
on the river.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Big
is.
river.
It is a boat. It is a
Not
giant
a
boat.
I think the Queen Mary would be a little upset at you calling her a boat when she's a ship.
I
Excuse
did
me.
say
She's a
that it
ship.
was an ocean liner. I
Okay.
said
It's a
1936.
vessel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is an ocean-going vessel.
Just a reminder.
That
then.
is totally autonomous
ship.
and has rights.
She is a ship.
Yeah.
Why did they name them she's all the time? They used to all the time.
Why would you want to stay on the...
Because they
King
weren't
Richard.
non-binary.
Okay, there you go. Question answered.
Apparently they had dick.
So,
I don't know.
so,
Or the dickhead. I don't know. One of the, right.
so
Where am I at? What am
I don't know.
doing? And who am I?
No, don't know who you are. Who is this?
That was a famous saying from a vice presidential candidate when he ran with Ross Perot, which was the downfall, by the way.
True.
If anybody knows who Ross Perot is,
True
Ross Perot.
international.
he was the one that made
pressure.
famous the great sucking sound from the South.
Didn't he run?
That was a song by Disney. By the way.
What in God's name
Wait,
is
didn't
happening?
he run
I'm
in
so lost.
as a Republican against?
No, he ran as an independent.
Yeah, he did.
But
Against-
Bill Clinton won the election.
A
Right?
lot of people believe that's why Bill Clinton won
well,
that
what
first
happened?
time.
What
I
happened?
thought it was
is-
his suave saxophone.
So I
music.
told.
Well, he was the
Hillary.
first. According to him, he was the first African American ever.
I told Hillary that we needed to find somebody to get me right in office. Okay, so we got this guy named Ross Perot. He came right in, introduced me as woman named Monica.
You gotta,
and,
you gotta listen to Ross
history is in
Perot
it.
sometime.
Do
you
I?
could do that voice.
I could?
It's a great voice.
Yeah.
But only you and I would know. Who it is.
Ross Perot.
No. Yeah, right. No, he had a squeaky voice like this. He was
He was a caricature from the
he was-
1930s cartoons.
smart as hell, rich as hell.
I'm Ross Perot.
But he carved away a bunch of the vote.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And, originally, the reason I brought him up in the first place is he spent like 3 weeks during his campaign in California as a 3-week resident of the Queen Mary.
Interesting.
Stayed there the whole time.
Very strange.
Yeah, he had black hair when he began. He had solid white hair when he came off.
I wonder
Well, it
if
makes
scared
sense.
to
he
death.
saw any spooky ghosts.
Well,
I think so.
Interestingly enough, on the topic of the Queen Mary, legend, I don't know whose legend, but apparently legend, just generally speaking, has it that the board of directors at Cunard had decided to name the ship the Queen Victoria early on. When the Cunard directors went to ask King George, I believe it was the 5th, his blessing of the name, stating, "We have decided to name our new ship after England's greatest queen," King George responded by saying, "My wife, Queen Mary, will be delighted that you're naming the ship after her."
He got some serious points for that one.
Yes,
I'll tell
he
you what.
did. Her maiden voyage was on May 27th, 1936, departing from Southampton, England. And she was retired as an active ocean liner in 1967, and over the tenure of Queen Mary's voyages, she carried 2.2 million passengers in peacetime and 810,000 military personnel in World War II. Since then, an estimated 50 million people have visited her in Long Beach, California. I apologize to each and every one of them. The day the ship was launched, a well-known English psychic, Lady Mabel Fortescue Harrison, what a name, predicted the Queen Mary will know her greatest fame and popularity when she never sails another mile or carries another fare-paying passenger. Joke's on you, Lady Mabel
she was
Fortescue
right on the
Harrison.
money.
I paid somewhat of a fare to get onto the ship overnight. Liar.
A fair.
I understand what a fare is, but I still paid the money.
So
She's
Probably
saying
more than what a
semantics the
ticket
wrong
cost
way.
originally.
Yes, significantly more.
I would
It's
hope
not a
so
cheap
because it's not
hotel.
1936 anymore.
Comparatively to the other hotels on this list, it is quite affordable.
but it's very nostalgic.
Yeah, it's quite
The
affordable.
ceilings are about 6 foot tall.
I mean,
total.
it's not a motel. It's a nice hotel, but the
Well, motels can't be nice.
all I'm saying
What
is
do
the
you have
rooms
against Motel
are
8?
the rooms are not
Motel.
updated. You know, the
Anybody
rooms
know
are
the difference
original
between a hotel and a
status.
motel?
One's easier to get prostitute.
Oh my god! It's
Classy.
no, isn't a motel a motor hotel where you can drive up to your basically where you stay and enter the door?
Kind of do
Never
the same
thought
thing.
about-
You kind of
Hotel
do
is-
the same thing
I've
in
never
a hotel.
thought about it
hotel,
like
you
that.
enter the hotel through a lobby. and
You can.
No, you can't.
You know, I don't drive my car through the lobby. Okay.
That's a hotel.
So there's a ton of haunted stuff. And just to run through this, because we have our own personal haunted story, and by knowing there is an afterlife and things in the unknown, it makes these things much scarier. Spooky, 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 spooky. So there are many legends of the Queen Mary. The first one being the White Lady. That is not at all a problematic statement. One woman apparently checked in but never checked back out. Guests and workers have witnessed sightings of the White Lady, a woman dressed in a ghostly white evening gown, floating at the end of the first-class lounge called the Queen's Salon for more than half a century.
Is this where the Eagles got their line?
She has
check in and you can't check out.
Maybe she has white ghost privilege.
I never
She's
check
on
out.
the first floor.
Like I always just leave the hotel before checkout time.
When's the last time you turned in a key?
I don't.
Oh, I did drop it in the Dropbox last time.
I just
that's
I
very
keep
nice
them.
of you.
That was nice of me, but
I keep them.
for
You keep
years
them?
I literally just
got a
would
stack
walk
of
away
them?
from the hotel and
Yeah,
be
but-
like, they'll figure it out.
That's kind of the way.
Or
I
they'll
feel
just
about
never
it.
check
Which
on
is
you.
probably not the best way to do it because people show up early and they need to know they have rooms.
Well, they
available.
automatically
So
check
now I
you
feel
out.
a little bad.
They automatically check you out at like 10 or 11, whenever it says. they're
Usually
automatic checkout.
11, check in at 4, check out at 11,
Yeah.
typically.
Is that a hotel or a motel?
It's a hotel.
Both. Would you prefer a hotel over motel?
Depends if I want a quick getaway or not.
Do you guys see this photo I put in here? What do you think?
I think it's a smudge on the lens, but I do
Oh
see why.
my God!
Yeah.
Shame on you, you unbeliever!
Unbeliever.
What is the matter?
Unbeliever.
Oh,
How can you? No, honestly, let's back up a
Unbeliever.
second here. Here we go. Here we go down the little tunnel, the ghost tunnel.
Oh, wait. I have ambience music. We should be
Ooh.
playing this while we
So,
talk about this.
Nice. I
I'm
like
looking
that.
at
I'm
this
feeling
photo
good.
in front of me right now, and it is showing down the hallway. I'm believing this is towards the Queen's Salon. And there is, I was making a joke about the
We'll
smudge.
pop this. We'll pop this onto the.
There,
video.
yes, you can see the photo. There is a red circle around what looks to be a figure.
Oh, wait. There's a figure there? I thought the
in
circle was the
background.
haunting.
It's got.
Like, what's this red circle here?
That is just them showing what to look at.
Oh,
there
devil's
is
circle. Gotcha.
what looks like a
Gotcha.
figure to be just a little shorter than the door in the foreground, and could be a ghost.
You know, I feel like this music is like...
This is like looking at clouds and
Yeah.
finding animals.
I feel like this music is like
I
an
like this
intro.
music.
I do
to
like this
To like
music.
this. In 2003, there was a young man.
I'm kind of
who
liking
worked
this
for-
music.
You'll have to
He-
play this when I tell my ghost story.
I'm
in
feeling
this
like
place.
what we should do now is turn the cameras upside down.
He worked for the Washington Herald or Post, and he discovered that the Queen Mary is actually a giant scam. Okay, that's
I
enough
can't.
of that.
You know, I'm kind of upset with you guys on this.
Why?
I can see already. There's a lot of, deliberate. There's a lot of
Yeah, speak more. Yeah.
negative vibes.
It's
Well,
because we're talking.
both of
We're
you.
talking
Well,
about.
wait,
haunted
wait.
I don't
stuff.
think you guys have had enough life experience to truly engage with this properly and understand the imprint that we all have on this world and how it
Yeah, preach,
Let me throw a
how
little.
it comes out into
preach.
the physical.
Let me throw a
going.
little teaser then out there.
Yes.
Yep.
We're getting through some of these stories, but towards the end of this little segment, I will tell the story that we experienced while spending the night on Queen Mary. That
experienced a story.
is a little scary,
It's a little scary.
Well,
just a little bit.
Stories.
It's actually
I
terrifying
might be coaxed to share as well.
terrifying.
depends.
because we did have an experience on the boat, and I will share it
Experiences
On the boat itself,
together.
on the boat.
going
In a
toward the
hotel.
Queen's Salon.
No, in our room.
In
We
your
had,
room,
we, had
see?
an, we had an experience in our room together.
I don't know if I really want to know about this.
We had an experience in our room together on a boat late at night.
I don't think this is the right music anymore. I think you should have.
Let's move along.
Okay, yeah, so there's the white lady. There's also little Jackie. Jacqueline Torrin was about 6 when she drowned in the ship's... Wait a second. Jacqueline Torrin was about 6 when she drowned in the ship's second-class pool, now the Royal Theatre. Guests report her splashing, calling for her parents, and even responding to questions asked by guests. Some believe a little girl named Sarah, Jackie's friend, also drowned in the same pool in 1949. This is E! Entertainment.
So that pool room,
Gotta have a fade out.
we walked past the doors to it, and you aren't allowed in there
No, you're
anymore.
not.
But you can see like there's
see,
glass panels, and you can
Where you
look
can see
through.
her silhouette.
You guys, I went through the whole ship when I was there.
When did you do that? Because we went through the whole ship except the
See,
pool.
I've never been able to say this publicly before. It scared me so much. I got to make up some shit now.
Yeah, I don't know. Mine's not made up.
I had an experience in my room.
Wait, go.
Ship. I did.
It was real.
I was walking by the lounge.
Did you see a light bubble?
Suddenly, there was. I actually,
A little circle
honestly,
light bubble.
I
It went,
did. I saw a couple dust bunnies come flying out from under the chair.
God.
They were like the dust bunnies from Monty Python's Holy Grail at the very end. Just rabbits.
Yeah.
The vicious bunnies tearing everybody to shreds.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
But no, I was able to have a tour at the time. This was in, like 95 maybe. Something like that. Last century. It was last century.
Mm-hmm. Back in the 1900s.
Yeah, that's when the Spruce Goose was still next door, and I could see Hugh Hefner's ghost, who was still alive at the time, since it was Howard Hughes, over there, looking on at the Proud Mary and the Queen Mary at the same time while he was smoking Proud Mary.
So what did you ever go to the boat?
Oh yeah,
You went?
I've been there a bunch of times.
You saw the whole thing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I actually, did you go on a tour?
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Is it haunted?
Where they held all the World War II Army?
Yeah.
I was in that. I was in the second class pool.
We didn't
They
go.
let us do laps.
So we just didn't do.
We didn't go into the pool. You didn't do laps.
He's never
Liar.
been. He's never.
I
I
have been there.
Liar.
He
Absolutely,
has been, but he
we
wasn't.
had a Christmas party, as a matter of fact. So after a few rounds of scotch, things got real interesting. I was seeing all kinds of ghosts.
The ghosts got handsy, and I didn't say no.
The ghosts got me.
So yeah, there's Lil Jackie. There's John Henry, another ghost. He's been a resident there for a while. He applied in a long time ago, like late 1800s. Henry worked in the boiler room, and it was here that his remains were found. He was crushed to death while trying to flee a fire in the engine room. Ghost hunters report seeing Henry's shadow figure lurking between the boiler room and the green room. I think we saw that. We walked through there.
I didn't see John Henry, but yes, we walked to that
I didn't see
area,
John
and I know
Henry either.
exactly. There's like a weird door opening that they say he got crushed in.
No,
You know,
you're
honestly,
thinking
if there are
the other guy.
truly,
Oh.
if there are truly ghosts, the imprints of previous humans in their lives on, construction things in the world today,
This is where we
ships
get
would
serious.
be ships would be for sure one of them.
Yeah.
Think about the number of tragedies in the world over the course of human civilization, and the number of human beings that have been lost under the ocean waves.
Norwegian cruise lines in 2018, 2019.
Oh, the Arizona.
Yeah.
There's still bodies in the Arizona.
Oh, we're talking about ships that sank. I thought we were talking about the COVID-19 thing when everyone got COVID on the cruise line and proceeded to expel their demons.
they expelled something.
The
all right.
USS Arizona is the ship that sank in Pearl Harbor.
One
correct?
of
Yeah. Or
several,
one of-
but
one
it's
of
the
several,
one
but
that's
yes.
still there. There's
Battleship.
an Arizona monument. It's
There's
still
something
there. You
going
can
on.
go out.
They did something to it, weren't they? Like
I haven't read about it.
reconstructing
The
something?
memorial,
There-
I think they were redoing the memorial because
'Cause
the
it was falling
memorial
apart.
walks out over top of it. Like if you
Well,
go
it's
to
gotta-
Pearl
it's-
Harbor, you can
You take a boat out
yeah.
to it, and then there's a platform where you can look down on it. You can
I
see
think
it in
they
the
might
water.
have been redoing the memorial.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
yeah.
But my whole point is over the course of history, there's been so many people lost to the oceans. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So if there are certainly, ghosts, things like, I don't know, Jack or Rose, on the Titanic. Seems like
Just Jack. Rose
just-
lived.
Well, she finally died.
She killed his ass.
And she threw
Stabbed him in the eyes.
$1 trillion ruby
I know
over
her
the back of-
granddaughters are like, "What the hell are you doing? That
Yeah,
was my
we're-
inheritance."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, joke's on them. They were Nazis.
Okay,
All I can say is there was room on that door.
there was.
That's what I
There
can
was.
say.
Yeah, there was room on that door. We'll talk
But
about
he
that one day.
crossed over.
Yeah, he did.
Good.
Over the equator. As he got pulled.
I don't think there was an iceberg down by the equator, but
Another ghost that is on the Queen Mary, apparently, is also known as Grumpy the Growling Ghost. This
he
spirit
I thought
was...
he was one of Snow White's friends.
Yeah, well, that's him.
Okay.
Whose actual identity is not known, tends to growl at visitors. Grumpy is rumored to lurk in a room under the stairs near the first-class swimming pool and sometimes joins John Henry at the boiler room. They get together and play cards. And then there's John Petter, who you are thinking of.
Oh, I see.
During its time in service, there were 49 deaths reported on the Queen Mary. One of which was John Petter, a.k.a. Half Hatch Harry. The infamous Door 13, located in the Shaft Alley, crushed the 18-year-old crewman to death when he was playing chicken with another crewman, as one does in the boiler room. Petter is known to leave behind greasy handprints in areas where he roams.
I have a picture of that door.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah, I laid down and pretended it was me to taunt the ghosts. They were chicken.
You're a
they
ghost
chickened out.
haunter.
Yeah.
You'd be good on that TV show, Zach.
I'm Zach Baggins.
Because he's like, I want you to hit me in the nose.
Punch my...
I love that show.
Flick my nuts, ghost.
Hey,
Flick me in the testicles.
I think Zach Baggins. I
What's
think
the
they
capital
have
of
been there.
Thailand? Boom!
Tell me right now. Hey. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Could you solve that for me, ghost?
Pythagorean is here.
Please.
The ghost of Pythagorean has made it.
Yeah, that would have been really
What was
funny.
that? Say that again. Moo boo.
Boo, boo, boo.
Sound like you need a picnic basket.
Yeah, and then finally, out of all the ghosts, because there's millions of them probably, but they only have like 6 that they've named, because why name a million? Dana, the last one. Legend has it that someone murdered a young woman named Dana and her family in room B474. The killer strangled Dana's little sister and mother on the bed, then shot Dana to death in the bathroom. Dana's spirit can be found lurking with other ghostly children in the second-class pool, and sometimes joins Grumpy and John.
Why would they
John
strangle?
Henry in the boiler room?
Why would they strangle the two and then shoot her in the bathroom?
Look, it's a legend, so I can laugh about it. If it happened, it's sad. If it also happened a long time ago, but where are you going, Dana? Oh, I'm gonna go and join Grumpy and John Henry in the boiler room for a game of cards.
It's like the community center for ghosts.
Yeah,
you got to hang out and do something.
Why exactly?
When you're caught between one life and the afterlife, and you're just hanging out in
You
purgatory.
gotta stay on a luxury ship.
Well, yeah, but you got to. It's like, oh damn, it's time to go to work. Let's
The
go
question-
scare some people.
The question I have is all the stuff in the afterlife like the same as here? So you die and you're like a ghost.
You do if you
and then
don't make it.
All of a sudden, like you wake up on the Queen Mary. It's 8:45. You take a stroll right down to the little area where
like the
everyone has
Upside Down
food
and Stranger Things.
and there's food and there's servers and they just all look really dead, but the food's great and the coffee's good. I think that's what happens. Just saying. For those of you who like to be haunted when you sleep at night, if you want to stay at the Queen Mary, prices for the rooms hover around $150 a night.
No freaking way. That's not what we paid.
That's what I looked at. I looked right now.
We got upcharged like 300%.
Well, you didn't tell
probably
me,
went
but you
on a
stayed in
Saturday.
room B.
That wasn't-
You stayed in room B474.
No, I actually remember we didn't stay in that room because I was a little freaked out.
You could have. You
Why
could have
were you,
rented that room.
Bale, why were you freaked out?
You could have rented that room.
No, I don't think I could. Actually, I remember we were there on a weekend and there was some event or like a work party or something going on, because I remember standing in line to check in at the check-in desk, and there was a ton of people there in gowns and stuff that were getting ready, like there was a work event or something like that. But yeah, no, we didn't stay in that room, but we did stay in another room. That was creepy.
What happened?
What happened?
Tell us what happened.
Well,
Wait, wrong one.
okay, all right.
What happened?
So we were there to celebrate your birthday, and we decided to do all the fun things that you do for like all the touristy things on the Queen Mary. So we signed up for the ghost tour. We had dinner with our ghost tour person with a big group of people who were also there with us.
How much was the ghost tour?
I don't remember,
Dear God.
but yes, there were 2 people there. I'm sure the price was scary. But anyway, we had a great dinner. And then we did the tour of the boat. He's telling us all these stories about all these ghosts and taking pictures and photos, which I have. I have a ton. Maybe I'll put some up on the video so you can see them. And yeah, it was very interesting. I remember we were both so exhausted. We stayed up a little bit and went to the little hotel bar, and then we went to bed. And the rooms themselves are basically original for what they were when the passengers traveled. You've got the bathroom, which has the knobs that say like salt water versus fresh water and everything in the shower. And then you had a little porthole, and our porthole looked out into the Long Beach Harbor, which is gorge.
Ah! Oh, sorry. I
was sarcasm.
flashback. I had a flashback.
So you have your little bed, and it's just a very modest room. we go to bed. Now, I sleep through the night. I'm a very heavy sleeper. I sleep on my back, which is something to actually note here. I usually always sleep on my back.
This is where it gets scary.
And I never wake up at night.
Spooky piano.
And I was a little creeped out before the tour, but honestly, we had a lot of fun on the tour. We were talking to other couples and families there, and we were having a good time.
Or
we were all
we thought.
We were having more of a good time. I was not in a scared mind frame when we went to bed or anything. It was just like, oh, this was just a fun thing. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So the bed's pushed up against a wall. And my dear husband here.
That was not your husband at the time.
This is blasphemy. And then he's sleeping against the wall, and I'm sleeping
on the floor.
No. I'm sleeping on the outer edge of the bed, which opens up to the small room. And
you know me, always the chivalrous one. Yep, that's me.
Yeah, let me take the bed while you take the floor, honey.
Okay.
It was a small room, but I remember I woke up. Now, I've never had an experience like this before this after.
We need mood music. Yeah, it's the only one I have. We need to go back to it.
I woke up middle of the night.
She's awake.
It was completely, it was dark, but the porthole, you had a little bit of moonlight shining in.
I'm snoring.
He was not snoring. He doesn't snore. It's dead quiet. Dead quiet. He actually sleeps like he's dead. Let me just put it this way.
You always try to check him?
Yeah, he doesn't snore. He hardly breathes. I'm concerned, honestly.
I make zombie noises when I sleep.
I'm on my back. I can't move.
Dear God.
I wasn't thinking rationally at the time at all about what was going on. So you could assume now, in hindsight, I was having a sleep paralysis moment. But I've never had it since. So this was odd. I'm on my back. I can't move. My neck and my head, they're lying on the pillow. And I start feeling panicky. I'm oh, I remember sitting there thinking, panicking, and it felt like someone was watching me, and I could feel it. I could just feel the presence of something watching me, and I could feel, Wolfie over here. He was next to me on the bed, but something else was in the room. I could just sense it. And my eyes, I remember looking at the ceiling, and all of a sudden the smell, this extremely potent smell of
Old
syrup.
Spice.
No.
Oh, damn.
Syrup. Very strong waffles and syrup was overpowering. It was crazy. And I remember I could still have
my farts smell like syrup.
I can still imagine it. So I can think about it's so clear in my head, the smell of it. And I look in the peripherals of my eyes, and there is someone standing at the end of the bed, just standing there. And I can assume it was male. That's just what it was in my head. It was a male standing tall.
Sexist.
Tall and standing there at the end of the bed with a hat on. Like a ship hat. I don't know how to explain it. What I would imagine a sailor would wear.
A sailor's hat.
Yes. In a dark, long sleeve coat. I remember it had big shoulders. And it was just standing there. I couldn't see the face. It just reminded me of a sailor or a captain or some naval officer of some type. And I couldn't move. I couldn't move at all. I just remember I was panicking. I was starting to breathe really fast. And I could just, maybe I was dreaming. I don't know, but I just remember it so clearly. I've never had another experience like this before. And I don't know what happened. I must have sat there for a while, or at least what felt like a while. It could have been a couple seconds. Next thing I know, I'm waking up. It's morning. It's daytime. I'm sitting there thinking, what? I remembered so clearly what happened, but it was morning, and it was clearly I was awake now. I could move. I got up, went to go brush my teeth, use the restroom, all that stuff, and then I told you we went to breakfast the next hour or so. We went down to breakfast,
and she spoke to me,
and I could smell.
And she realized that I was dead. She said, "Wolf, you want to go to breakfast?"
And have some waffles.
That's it.
I have
You
this
were
strange
alive.
desire for syrupy waffles.
Well, no, I remember we were down at breakfast and I had coffee and I was getting stuff and I remember sitting there and I could smell that smell all over again. It was very strong, waffly, like waffles. I just kept thinking of waffles, pancakes.
If you're going to have a nightmare about a ghost, smelling waffles is not a bad way to go.
I thought this would be scary.
Interestingly, most people, even when they have vivid dreams, cannot remember their dreams years later.
No, I remember this clearly.
I don't think you were asleep.
She remembers all of her dreams.
Not all of
She
them.
recites them to me.
Well, I've also told a lot of
Every day.
people about this one because it was so vivid and I've never had another experience like that before. And yeah, the explanation is, oh, you had a sleep paralysis thing, so you were like half awake, half dreaming.
Yeah, but sleep paralysis is partly analogous to fear of some kind. So something created that.
Well, the thing that really stood out to me the most, and I think why I remember it so clearly, is the smell. The smell of syrup. I don't know. I don't know.
What
It
the
was so
hell?
strong.
I really
remember it so
wasn't
clearly.
feeling well
Waffles.
that night. I wasn't feeling well, and I had the McDonald's. What is it? The
McGriddle?
The McGriddles.
That's the smell right there.
Dude, the
Actually,
I
McGriddles.
started
that's probably
talking about
similar.
it, and I got hungry for
Bro.
McGriddle.
There was no
McGriddles
like.
are the best.
awesome.
They are the best.
No, it was like pure, like I'd stuck my nose in a molasses or like maple syrup. Like it was so strong.
a McGriddle machine.
Sure.
Well,
That's my story.
it's scary.
Your commentary made it a little less scary.
Very
but
scary.
when I think about it, it freaks me out.
Well, that giant ship it's got some scary elements to it. It
There's
really
some
does.
scary elements. Yeah.
Those are woozles. What's the other thing with woozles?
It's just Winnie the Pooh.
Heffalumps?
Heffalumps and woozles. Yeah,
It's
those
from
are
Winnie the
scary.
Pooh.
Yeah.
You want to talk about ghosts, man. When I was a kid and I saw heffalumps and woozles for the first time, I had nightmares for a week,
Yeah,
man.
those were scary.
Freaking heffalumps and woozles
Yeah.
all over the
I wanna
screen,
watch that
dancing
movie now.
around.
Heffalumps
Poor Christopher
and
Robin
woozles.
Well, I think on that note, this is the 5 p.m. installment of Wolf News. I am Carter Page, aka known as the Wolf, and we are going to take a quick break. But when we get back, we're going to dive more deeper into the spooky hotels. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. I'm Carter Page. Welcome back to the 5 p.m. installment of whatever the news I said was before. We are back to talk about spooky hotels. I'm currently with the Bull, and we also have Baewolf across from me. We are going to dive into the psyche behind her trauma.
Oh, we're going there now.
Oh my God.
Where did the Maple Man? Where did the Maple Man? Where did he touch you? Was it here? Right there? Did he touch you there? Or was it here?
Where did the Maple Man come from?
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Maybe if the syrup man possessed you and I actually married the syrup man this whole
Syrup.
time.
No. It's not possible.
Let's move on from the Queen Mary. She's getting dusty. Let's go.
Well, I am the Wolf, also known as the Syrup Man, better yet known in the legends of old as the Maple Man, and we are going to talk about Hotel Del Coronado. Is that how you're supposed to say it?
Moving slightly down the coast.
Yeah, moving
Slightly.
slightly down the coast from
Coronado's
the-
better than Long Beach.
That was once a stop for the Queen Mary, by the way.
Of course it
Maybe.
was. And they doomed her to a real version of hell by putting her in Long Beach. Anyway, Hotel Del, located in San Diego, California, our old stomping grounds, is well known for the most famous guests that it housed, including Marilyn Monroe, Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, Frank Sinatra, Katharine Hepburn, Ronald Reagan, Jack Nicholson, Oprah Winfrey, and Frank Baum, the author of The Wizard of Oz. On a side note, Baum designed the chandeliers hanging in the crown room, based them on the crown worn by the lion in Oz. Yeah, kind of a cool little...
Nice
That is a
little,
beautiful.
yeah, nice little
Beautiful
tidbit
hotel.
there.
How does
It
his
is.
voice
It's
go?
fantastic.
How does his voice go?
Last time we were at the Hotel Del,
knows.
Cowardly lion.
we were there for Christmas. They decorate for Christmas. Really
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do.
They got the
We
ice
went
skating
ice
rink.
skating on the beach.
Well, I went ice skating on the beach. You took baby's
She went-
first steps. It's okay.
Wow.
It's okay.
Wow.
In other
Maple
words,
Man just throws Baywolf
I'm
I
a
am
under the
terrible
bus.
ice skater.
The syrup man.
Sticky boy.
Yuck.
Well,
So in the 130 years of its operation, Hotel Del Coronado has plenty of memories, not all of them as pleasant as the others. Ours is in the pleasant memory category.
We did have a pleasant time last time we were there.
So history, the opening night of the Hotel Del was a pricey $2.50, including all meals in 1888.
Those are
I
the
love
days.
inflation. Those are no longer the prices
No, not
on
even
a
close.
day stay at Hotel Del.
That's the
Yeah.
price for one stick of gum there.
Not even that. It has the Hotel Del stamp of inflation. The total cost of the hotel was $1 million, with nearly half of the price coming from the hotel's furnishings. On a side note, the hotel didn't use a single nail during its construction, instead opting for wooden pegs.
That's interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
I figured they just leaned everything against each other.
Yeah, they did the old
Keep it
Colosseum strategy.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the haunted stuff, passing away in 1892, Katie Morgan's death is the stuff of legend. Oh yeah, I've got to do technical difficulties. Her death has become embellished with many exaggerations, which makes it difficult to decipher the truth.
Isn't that embellishment? Is exaggerating?
Maybe. No one's sure. I feel like I should talk like, what's his name? The Priceline guy. Kate Farmer was born around 1864 in Iowa. Kate's mother died when she was only a toddler, so she lived
That is the
primarily.
worst
I can't.
William
I was
I
gonna
can't,
say.
I can't, I can't do it.
Give it up.
Damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not a ghost.
Doctor, not a ghost hunter. She primarily lived with her maternal grandfather. In 1885, she married a man named Thomas Morgan, a man who was pretty distasteful. He gambled and he hustled. I don't know what hustled. I just was
Damn
hustling.
Usually-
distasteful
Making money.
gamblers.
He was-
Usually a gambler who's not just gambling, they're usually cheating. They're hustling.
Gotcha. He's a cheating gambler. So gambling's fine if you have an addiction there, but cheating and gambling's wrong. Mental note.
Called
Noted.
him the Maple Man.
He was the maple. He was the Canadian maple man. Unhappy, Katie ran away with another man in 1890, but was reunited with Thomas in 1892 as they traveled west, robbing and swindling railway passengers.
Oh, so she wanted to get away from it, but she was drawn to it like a magnet.
Yes.
Like a moth to a flame.
She's the criminal here. is
like a
what we're saying.
waffle to maple syrup.
Yes, like a shadowy figure to a Baewolf. She arrived in Los Angeles in 1892 alone and found a job as a maid in one of the well-to-do households in L.A. Sorry, I tasted vomit when I said well-to-do. In November of 1892, this is too much. In November in 1892, she arrived in San Diego alone and checked into the Hotel Gordon Ramsay, Hotel Del Coronado under the name of Lottie Bernard. That was her name. Does not even sound real. The staff of the hotel thought she was sick. She looked melancholy and that she was suffering. And then she said that she was waiting for a companion to join her. According to the San Diego Tribune, they've been around for a long time. Holy crap. Kate claimed that she told housekeepers that she had stomach cancer and heart disease and that she was waiting on her brother to take care of her. There is no evidence that she had a doctor who was a brother who was a doctor. On November 29th, Kate Morgan's body was found on an exterior stairway leading down to the beach. She was in the first trimester of pregnancy and her gun lay by her side. A single gunshot wound to the head ended her life. Using a pseudonym and a false registration made it challenging to ID her body. For months after Kate Morgan's death, newspapers across the country reported on the suicide of the beautiful and mysterious stranger. They referred to it as a double homicide.
You know what that has the earmarks of, the way you described that, though? Something I've heard somewhere about, let me see if I can remember it. GW, I think it was.
Are you
A time traveler.
Are you talking about?
Yes.
Are you,
Very
are you
famous.
referring to?
It wasn't
first-
self-inflicted.
the
Did they
first
check
chat?
her neck?
Did he strangle?
Did they check her
Did
neck?
George Washington strangle Kate Morgan?
I think possible. I think it is possible.
I We need to find evidence of this, Dr. Bull.
Did
These are heavy allegations.
Did they find any wooden teeth or a wig?
Dear God, they did.
Let's hope everyone here has listened to the Hot Bee podcast,
Great
the sister podcast.
Scott.
Otherwise, you're like, what on earth are they talking about?
Welcome
Well,
to
if they haven't listened to Hot Bee,
Welcome
What
to
the
Wolf
hell?
and Bull. We're all on psychedelic drugs. But yeah, officials thought it was a suicide based on the info that they had. She was sick, alone, showed strange mannerisms. Of course, anything to do with being a woman back then was strange. So, of course, she showed strange mannerisms. They found that the bullet that had killed her in 1989, by the way, by a guy named Alan May, he found that the bullet that had killed her was from a different caliber of gun.
like I said,
Yeah. But George Washington,
Very
he
suspect.
doesn't use rifles. He uses his hands. He's
that
a
was
very
a
intimate
different time
murderer.
traveler was covering up for him.
So you're saying that it was a time traveling version of
It was
George Washington,
probably-
who was a time traveler originally.
Judy Garland going back in time to cover
See, I didn't think
for
about
George
that. I didn't think
Washington's
about that.
strangulation.
Yeah, I didn't. That's like 40 chests deep of Inception. That's too much. So it's suspected, obviously, by the
Well,
people.
you said Frank Baum was there.
Yeah.
Well, there's your connection. Wizard of Oz.
That is a good point. Wow.
You
Dear
and
God.
I remember you talking about Munchausen syndrome, and the first thing I thought was no.
It had
That's
it,
why they named them the Munchkins.
it was Frank Baum.
It's not Munchausen.
It was Frank Baum.
It's Munchkin syndrome.
Munchkin syndrome. Yeah, that was good. I like that one. That deserves a. That's good.
Thank you very
That's good. That's the Bull, everyone.
I'll be here all night.
He gets the Academy Award of funniest 4D chess joke ever created. So obviously, by the boring people in the world, it's suspected that her husband Tom Morgan shot her because he heard of the pregnancy news, and he became so upset that he murdered his wife.
Hey,
They didn't
hey.
have the options we have today. Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
So there's paranormal activity. I'm not even going to go there. There's paranormal activity, obviously, at this hotel. Originally, she was in hotel room 312, and the room that she has stayed in has since had its number changed. So
Oh, they really
no
don't
one
want
knows.
people freaking out about that, do they?
No one knows what room it is. Guests have reported electrical equipment issues, like when they bring up their leaf
I think
blowers.
the room is on the third floor
Well,
somewhere.
yeah. Well, when the guests bring their leaf blowers and their, iMacs and their PS5s, they have electrical issues. Unexplained cold spots and a shadowy phantom patiently waiting in the windows has been seen. Hotel Del claims. Today, Kate's spirit seems to have remained at the Del, where she tends to occupy
This guy
and
always
haunt
comes up here.
her
This
former guest room. But her beautiful vision and ghostly pranks can be experienced throughout the rambling resorts of the grounds. Frodo Baggins.
I don't think you sound like Gandalf. I think you sound like.
Hey.
I was going to say Bob Marley, but that's the wrong guy. He's Rasta. I'm talking about Mr. Marley from Scrooge.
Joe Bob Marley. I don't know his voice. Yeah, that's not Bob Marley. If you want to stay at the Hotel Del, if you're an insane person, the prices hover for around $600 per night.
It's a beautiful place,
yeah,
man. You
it's
look
so
over the
expensive.
shore there, and they've got
so expensive.
600
The Hyatt is
for
600.
that place right on the beach.
So it's not that bad.
Shush. Stop trying to get
Hyatt
me
prices.
to spend my money. Stop.
I'm saving it for waffles and syrup.
Saving it for a lifetime supply of waffles and syrup. Yeah, I don't. This one isn't. Hotel Del is not that creepy.
They're all creepy.
No.
You know,
Well,
the
No, well-
creepiness is turning on music, getting there at night. Exactly. Walking around the hallways, which are all built for frickin' munchkins
Are
and people
there-
that were much smaller.
why are there other people here
And
with
seeing
me?
flickering lights instead of luminescence. You got think about this at the time. There was barely electricity at the time of these things we're talking about. So they had
Imagine
candles
how
going
creepy
on.
those hallways
It's freaking
were.
creepy today.
I go there now and I walk in and immediately, oh my
It is an
God.
absolutely beautiful, stunning
It's
place. to go to.
$600 a night and there's children.
But here's the thing you don't realize about all
What?
these places. They build these places with false walls and rooms and corridors and things
no
in
nails.
basements and stuff like
No
that.
nails.
Fuck the nails.
Well, no,
Whoa, hey, cut
don't
that
do
out, by the
that.
way.
That is not conducive to a healthy and responsible sex life.
What?
You said fuck the nails. I'm just saying
I meant
don't.
the 9-inch
do
nails,
that.
the band, the 9-inch nails. Anyway, where was I? I was lost in
He's
time.
forgotten
Lost
That
in
himself.
these
He's
places
forgotten
were built
himself
with
again.
with walls and that
Well,
were
I'm just
false.
saying that
and-
none of these places are what you think they are. The people
good
that build
night's
these
stay,
giant
obviously.
hotels, any of these places, they build stuff to have corridors and convenience.
Well,
Think about it this way.
But do you think every hotel is like, what's his name? What was that guy? Was that serial killer? That guy that had like
H.H. Holmes.
You think every hotel is like H.H. Holmes' house?
Yeah, pretty much.
Every single one?
Pretty much.
Walking
All-
into-
now, the ones that aren't are the ones that look like frickin' prisons, you know?
Yeah, dude. You walk into Hotel Disney. It's just,
Disney-
your kid walks
Disney-
down the hallway, a door opens. This kid's sucked in, never to be seen again. Sent to China.
Well.
Disney has a whole
have a-
resort, or they have a
resort.
Whole,
They have an
A
they have an
whole city.
underworld.
They have a
have-
freaking
no.
city.
Oh my gosh, no! They have
Excuse
an
me.
island that has all of their
Castaway
like,
Key.
No, not that either. They have a water park that's been
Atlantis.
abandoned on an
Atlantis.
island, and it no.
Epstein Island.
In Orlando, one of the small little islands on those lakes, there's one with an old little water park adventure land thing that they abandoned.
Yeah.
And people like to go there and
Hey.
videotape it, and they get banned for life from
That's
Disney
the same
World.
thing. Have you ever gone around Tom Sawyer Island like thoroughly?
I walked in once. Walked in the
No.
water.
Although 2 people did die at Disneyland getting
Well, that was in
Augustus
the boat
Gloop.
thing.
No, like Augustus Gloop sucked into the thing
Oh, that's
You don't say.
after grad night
Wait,
back
what-
in the
what?
80s.
What?
Swimming to Tom Sawyer Island.
Why?
Yeah, that's a podcast you should do. Deaths at Disneyland.
That would be
We
awesome.
already did a Disneyland episode, didn't we?
No.
You did
We
Disney-
talk
we
about them
talked about
constantly,
it.
but we
Go
did
ahead
not.
and pull this up and
I'm sorry, we're derailing.
Death from Disney and maple syrup. That's
We were
what should
talking
do.
about hotels, and now we're talking about Disney deaths.
My whole point is these ornate hotels, these things that have artistry around them, things in Europe, for instance,
Oh my
castles
gosh.
and churches and all that.
You can tell they
These
were
are
old
not-
residences.
They're not pragmatic. They don't have just, well, here's our 19,000 rooms and our this many bathrooms and that. No. You don't build something like that without real architectural plans.
Here's
You know,
our 20.
false walls.
Here's our 20,000
hidden
rooms.
corridors, basements.
We've got 20,000 rooms, excuse me, and we've got a ball pit.
A what?
A ball pit, and it's hidden behind a bunch of different doors.
No. How do you think things like Freemasonry and Illuminati and all this other weird secret society shit, how do you think they ever hid anywhere? They became architects and they became civil engineers and things like that. When they built shit, they built it for more than one purpose.
Welcome to InfoWars. I'm Alex. I'm here to talk to you about how the alien lizard people have developed a insatiable need for Disney children, sucking them into the walls of every single theme park, deep down into the islands of Atlantis and in Japan.
Japan.
Don't give Japan a bad name like that.
You know what?
Hey, the cherry blossoms. Awesome.
I would love to visit the forest,
But you know-
but not pull
Underneath
that
the
one
forest.
guy's decision.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, not pull Logan Paul.
I don't know what he did.
Let's
but
go to
good.
Spooky Hotel number 3,
Yes, Spooky Hotel number 3.
taking us to Arkansas. I see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spooky things in Arkansas.
There are some spooky things in Arkansas. Sorry, Arkansas listeners. I've actually never been, so I
that's
have
okay.
I have no
That's
right
where
to
they
say that
invented the
kind of thing.
toothbrush. You know that, right?
Well,
Because
There's-
any other state, it would have been called the teeth brush.
That is so insulting.
I love Arkansanians. It's all it is the Ark of Kansas. We all know that, right? Ark of Kansas, Arkansas.
you know what? That deserves another one. Those both. You get 2 applauses.
2 applauses.
2 gold stars.
2 applauses
for the day.
and
That's
people
good.
in Arkansas are trying to figure out,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
who is this bull guy?
So the third hotel, the third one, because I can't count past 3. So third one. It's called the Crescent Hotel, named after the French pastry.
You know
Croissants?
another word for crescent is?
Croissant.
Arc.
Oh God! Here we go
and
back
saw.
to the religious.
Crest saw.
Now we have to
Crest
talk about
saw?
theology.
Crest's chainsaw.
Masker.
Yes. That's where
third?
it comes from. The Crescent Hotel in Arkansas conflated into the Chainsaw Massacre in the localized area of Texas, because Arkansas people don't like Texas. Because there's Texarkana, which is Texas and Arkansasian together. And you put those together and you...
I'm
you
from
see it?
California. I don't know anything you just said.
I'm sorry, can you say that without an accent there, please?
I'm from California. I don't know what you just said.
Oh my God, that was too right on. That really makes me...
That's your sound. That's your sound now.
Thank
you get the
you.
harp. So the the Crescent Hotel was built in 1886 in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. There have been hundreds of tales of paranormal experiences at the Crescent Hotel and Spa. Hundreds. Besides being a popular mountaintop resort, the hotel also served as a girls' college and a cancer hospital where Dr. Norman Baker claimed to have a cure for cancer. This hotel is considered America's most haunted hotel by ghost
Did you
hunters
say Norman Baker or
and
Norman
ghost
Bates?
adventurers. Welcome to National Geographic's spookiest places to sleep.
What was the
I'm
cure to
Carter
cancer?
Wolf. I don't know.
Was it ivermectin?
Oh, nice. Nice. Apparently it cures everything.
Yep.
Apparently.
Someone give me a slotch of whiskey. I'm Alex Jones, and we're here to talk about whether ivermectin is the cure to cancer, or if, of course, it is just a scam, as your trusted and experienced news network, CNN, also referred to as Celestial News Network, if they are correct after all.
I'd also like to sell you some pharmaceutical grade vitamins along with this whiskey.
You guys know that you
Slosh
can
them
get
back.
you guys know that you can increase your testosterone percentage by 8,000% by drinking just about 1,800% of your daily volume of vitamin V. Vitamin V, not vitamin B.
Vitamin B.
Yeah, for 47 payments of $1985.99, you will understand and experience the power of testosterone with vitamin B. Vitamin V. Okay, so there's haunted stuff. Obviously, there's hundreds. So much haunted stuff. I just, is it ever gonna end? Are we ever gonna end haunted stuff? Or just not gonna be haunted anymore? It's so stressful. One of them is room 218, where Michael and Irish Stonesman fell to his death when building the hotel.
Stonesman. You know
Idiot.
another
Stonemason.
word?
One
that-
idiot.
You got it. Bale's all over this.
Stonemason.
Stonemason. Freemason.
Freemason.
He's a Freemason.
Mason
right.
Crosby.
And
Pittsburgh
Stills
Steelers.
and Nash.
Mason.
Hello, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Not much.
This all leads
How
back.
about you?
Well, you know what Mason rhymes with, right? Washington. This all goes back.
Mason
This
and
all goes back to
Washington.
George Washington. It all goes back. Yeah, I'm Alex Jones. Yeah, so apparently that guy fell to his death. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. Stupid.
These people.
Dumb.
I mean, they're just falling down
Dumb.
shafts.
to-
He's
Poor
dead.
Michael.
He's
Wait.
dead.
What is the room from The Shining?
Oh, not 218. It's
233 or something.
it's
know.
mail time.
Yeah, I'm sure it has significance. This will we circled all the way back
237.
to Stephen King now.
237, yeah.
Man, I was
Yeah.
off.
Room
Okay,
237.
never mind.
237. Oh my gosh.
Wait, 2 plus
2
7
and
is
3 and
5.
7. You
And
know
then
those.
5 plus 7
Two-
You know
is
what's
12.
the same
2
about
plus
all
7
of
is
them?
5.
2
No, 2,
2 plus
3, and
3
7.
is 5, and 5 plus
They're
7 is
all
12.
one
And
type of thing.
how
You know
many
what 2, 3, and
syllables
7
are in George Washington was the president of the United States? How many syllables?
42.
12. There's 12 syllables.
No.
President.
He was
George
called.
wait.
Washington was the president of the United States. 12?
12.
Oh.
See?
You-
How many syllables? I just solved it.
Do you know what another word for president is, though? The prime, right?
which is also
Optimus
5.
Prime.
5 is a prime number.
And so is 2.
Yep.
So is 3. So is 7.
I think we're on to something
yeah.
here, guys. I think
Yeah,
George
we got
Washington strangled.
This all sinners. He's like the eye of the
I think
freaking
he's
storm
strangled.
here.
I think he's strangled
He's
every
the
person.
eye of the storm.
George Washington is the angel of death. I'm Alex Jones, and I'm here to talk to you about how George Washington is the angel of death. We are on the cusp of discovering the reason why humanity has existed in all the stars in space amongst the universes. Why are we here? What is there for us? Find out more on tonight's episode of InfoWars. It's just way too fun. Yeah, I guess, George Washington, President of the United States, 12 syllables, also prime number, probably responsible for Michael's death. And Irish Smith.
12 is not a prime number, but okay.
No.
Fine.
Okay, fine. 12 isn't a prime number. I meant
It's
5,
a nice number,
2,
though.
7. You're right. Math. Theodora, Michael's lover, was a cancer patient. Michael's lover before she became.
She was not Michael's lover.
She was known to be seen fumbling for her keys outside of room 419, as well as tidying up for guests when they leave the room. She's
I forgot to
she's
make
beat
my
it.
bed. Damn
She's
it.
beat-
Let me
she's
go
beat
back to
her
the
issue.
hotel room to try to make my bed.
Yeah.
Hey, it's already made. What happened?
Then there's Brecky, who is a 4-year-old child of Richard and Mary Breckenridge. God, what a terrible name. Brecky Breckenridge. Yikes.
Thompson?
Thompson,
that's a
last
nickname.
name, yeah. Who died in the hotel due to complications from appendicitis. Eesh. He has been seen, it's a he. He has been seen throughout the hotel, often bouncing a ball.
Was it a crescent-shaped ball?
This is the last one. I'm Alex Jones. We're here to talk about how there is a pedophile ring in the Crescent Hotel located in Arkansas, Eureka Springs specifically. Lil Brecky Breckenridge Thompson, he has been seen as a ghost bouncing balls around late at night, and there have been a slew of old men following him. And then there's Dr. John Freeman Ellis, the hotel's in-house doctor, circa the late 19th century, is most often seen, or his cherry pipe tobacco is smelled. So there you know, maple syrup tobacco near his office, which is now room 212. And then there's Morris, the famed meow hotel cat, was known as the hotel general manager for 21 years and later buried on the hotel property and is regularly seen and heard. And on the note of cats, I saw a hilarious video last week. This person who refers to themselves as identifying as a cat, she was explaining her cat, mannerisms, and she's like, I'm a cat, and I'm also, a myriad of other different genders, but I normally identify as cat, and I feel kind of cat right now. And this is what she was saying on the phone. She's like, yeah, I'm really kind of feeling like a cat, and then she's like, meow. She said that right afterwards, and it was hilarious.
You watching?
Oh, I'll send it to you. It was very funny. It was hilarious. Because in the middle of her sentence, just like totally serious meow. At the very end, just meow, and just goes on. Nothing changed. It was hilarious. Just popped in my head. But yeah, a recurring phenomenon happens in a spot on the 3rd floor of the Crescent Hotel, where the hotel connects to an annex built onto the hotel when it was a hospital. People have said that there is a portal to the other side. Guests grow faint. Some pass out at the same spot on the nightly ghost tour for no reason. Occurrences happen in spurts over several weeks or months and then stop completely, and guests turn pale, faint for a few minutes, and then recover completely as if totally normal. I call baloney. They're paid actors. Prove me wrong.
I think these are interesting, anecdotal, situations and places that have earned a reputation over time, perhaps because of something unusual and circumspect during the course of their lives and their continued need for people to come there. Part of the allure is what's going on. I mean, there's places all over the country. There's, as we've talked about earlier, there are shows on TV that you can watch with groups of people trying to identify these things through numerous technological ways, or because they felt, the goose skin on their neck or whatever. All this kind of stuff occurs. But to back up for a second, is there anybody that truly anybody, including yourselves, that haven't had a strange and unusual circumstance that's given them pause, that's given them reason to kind of to look like we're looking out into the hallway right now. And you can really see that things aren't clear. The walls are solid, supposedly.
What?
But there is a kind of a mesh, a matrix, if you will, about things. And our ability to see through that, not necessarily all the way to the other side, but a reflection of things past, is, I think it's worthwhile to dive into in a serious way.
Was there a question there?
Well, that was a statement.
I feel like it was.
I didn't think I was
I
asking
felt
a
like there was a
question.
question.
I
I
think
felt
it
like that
was-
started
There was
as a question.
The
and it
question
became a
was, has there
statement.
been anybody that you know, including yourselves, that hasn't had some type of experience that is,
I think everyone I
unexplainable.
know has some experience, and they do what they can to explain.
and we name them.
Yeah.
We name them something.
Idiots.
Like I would label mine as
Good.
sleep paralysis.
Well, yeah, but what, you got to ask yourself, what's that defined from? People
Right.
will go into the scientific way of looking at this kind of stuff and say you get some kind of, you drank too much and you have a chemical imbalance and you're dreaming half, you're trying to wake, or you're doing all these different things, and your body is self-correcting and it identifies these anomalous behaviors, and we as human beings have to name them. So we name them aliens, we name them ghosts, we name them other worlds, we name them multiple
Brekkie.
universes,
We name them
Brekkie, we name them, Alex Jones, we name them all kinds of
Yep.
things, but we name them. And so the question then becomes is, if we name them that, what are they, right? If we've all had these experiences, are they just a figment of our imagination? And then you ask yourself even a deeper question: what is our imagination really about? And then you go down a rabbit hole you can't get back from, and that's where Frank Baum developed his Through the Looking Glass.
Mm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, Through the Looking Glass. Wasn't that Lewis Carroll?
No,
You're wrong. I just got you.
that was Alice in Wonderland.
I was like, wait
That wasn't
a second.
Frankie. It was basically the same, though.
Oh, basically the same.
It's one's a tornado, and one's a falling through the looking glass.
I was
Damn
sitting
it!
there, I was like,
I sounded
Frank
so
Baum.
intelligent there for a second.
It's okay. I helped you out at the
You
end.
know.
I was gonna jump into the spooky again, but then I played that right when you called him on his thing, and it kind of now comes off as like an investigative journalist report.
Look, my whole point is these are fun things,
Yeah.
but there isn't a culture in the world that doesn't have an association with spirits
Yeah, there's
in one.
the
What is it?
Mayans. They're dead. That's why they don't exist anymore.
Astute.
Yeah.
Very astute.
One culture.
So, and why do you think they threw people into giant cenotes all the time?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanna swim in one so
they're
bad.
gone.
Yeah, well, swim
Do
in it.
you?
When you do swim in it, don't think about what's laying at the bottom of those cenotes.
That is very
Hundreds
true.
of billions of dollars of gold,
And bones.
but mostly
Of
gold.
children.
Mostly gold.
Gold bones.
And
Yeah,
women.
that's fine.
Women and
It's
children.
gold alien
And
bones.
prisoners.
Yep.
And ghosts.
Women, prisoners of war and children.
Barrels of gold filled with maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
Maple Man. So back to the final aspect of the spooky with the Crescent, the Hotel, which I don't think we're doing justice, so I have to go back to spooky again. There's also been an uptick in paranormal activity in the morgue on the grounds. A certified archaeological dig in 2019, prior to the economic downturn of the 20s, uncovered a secret bottle grave of the Crescent's infamous resident owner, Norman Baker. Hundreds of bottles of Baker's secret formula were found, along with jars containing medical specimens that had been surgically removed from patients. Is that what they were? Because it didn't specify, so I just guessed. A dark figure has been seen recently in the morgue, resulting in an increased level of cold spots and reports of people being touched. It's the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein. If you'd like to stay at the Crescent Hotel and be touched by ghosts, pricings for rooms start at $200 a night.
You know, the end of each of these sounds like a commercial for these hotels.
Please sponsor us.
And please sponsor. I don't think the Crescent
We
Hotel
would
will be
love
sponsoring
to
us
do a
anytime.
full episode in each of these
In
3
each
hotels.
of your
we will be doing a
hotels.
location episode.
And we'll really confuse you because when we're at your hotel, we'll talk about a different one. And we're here at the Hotel Del talking about the Queen Mary. Yeah, this is not one of the Queen Mary's rooms. This is the
Hotel Del rooms are updated. Pretty sure.
Ooh, they got newer ghosts.
Yeah.
I just mean like the
They've-
faucet doesn't have salt water
I can
as
see
an
them
option.
going in there. I can see the directors of the hotel going in there. Okay, you,
The ghosts.
Brecky, or whatever
The
the hell your
ghosts
You know
name
what I
is.
do remember?
they're
You're
more-
too old. You ghosts, get out of here. Bring in the new
they're
ghosts.
more woke. The ghosts are new.
Yeah,
more
bring in
woke.
some woke ghosts,
Next,
please.
next
I
to
prefer-
We
the
don't want the white one.
I
in
prefer
the,
not
in the,
being
in the-
called woke.
In the Queen Mary,
That's
we need the.
an anti-racist phrase. I am just. Oh, well,
and we're back because
we're
Cameron
back.
just learned a new
Oh,
bad word.
a new old
yeah,
bad
you,
word.
You pointed it out. Oh man. Oh God. Okay. Well, where were we going with that? Anyway, we're gonna have to.
I
cut
liked your
that.
story though.
Yeah.
I liked your story. You
Thank
don't have any
you.
ghost stories other than Leonard, maybe?
He has some, but they're not from a hotel.
Mine's same. I've got a couple, but they're not from hotels.
I mean, they're not soupy. They're not soupy. They're not.
They're not just soupy.
they're not soupy, and you might think I'm referring to soup when I say that. I mean spooky. They're just kind of meh. Like some weird shit happens. Like
Yours is actually scary. You should tell it real fast.
mine.
Yeah, the one from when you were a kid.
Oh yeah. So I was a child,
We don't believe that part.
and it was like prior to 2001, which is how I measure all of my
Pre-planes flying into the
9/11.
towers.
That's
Okay.
how I measure all of historical incidences in my life. It's pre 9/11 or post 9/11, and it was pre 9/11.
Pre 9/11.
The world was probably the same. It was not. It was different. And I was a kid. And so I lived a very young life in Minnesota. And it was scary.
The end. The end.
And there was this place that I lived when I was a kid with my parents. And one night I woke up above a store because that's where our house was. It was located. Our apartment building was a little apartment hole in the wall place. It was above like a old antique store with really high prices. And I woke up one night and I heard something calling my name from the boiler room.
Whoa.
And I'm not even joking because we did have a boiler room. You had to go through the back side of the building, and then there was a door. You open the door up, and there's a stair that goes up to where the little apartment is. And to the left was a boiler room. And when I was a child, we had a bunch of cats. This is supposed to be scary. Stop laughing. It's traumatizing. There was so much hair. And I woke up because it was calling my name.
And I know this is like a real story, so tell it.
And I walked slowly down over to the stairs. And I heard it say, can't say my name.
Wolf.
Can't say my name. Wolf. And I was like, no way am I going down there. And so I went back to bed. That's how it went.
It's a much better story when he's telling it in person.
Actually,
So
you
I
gotta
was
tell
in
it around a
person.
campfire sometime.
I was in person, and I'm telling a story about when I was a child, and I was really young. But I'm telling it as an adult
To
now.
hear something calling your name, that's scary.
I mean, I was also like 5.
You got a quick story over there, Bull.
Nothing to match those unbelievable stories. But I could share. If I'm coaxed into it, perhaps.
You have the audio floor.
Well, we've got the syrup man, the syrup sailor,
The syrup salesman.
The syrup sailor.
syrup sailor,
The distant boiler room
cat.
The
call from the
boiler
fire.
room voice.
The boiler
voice
room cat.
from a cat.
Mm-hmm.
It said meow.
Buy
So I
vitamin
was-
V.
when I was about I don't know, maybe 12 years old or so, I lived in a town near Lake Michigan. And Saturday mornings were a blast. We'd go play basketball or hit the baseball around, or we'd take our bikes riding or whatever the case may be. And we got up one morning, my brother and I, and off in the distance we saw this big plume of smoke. And we were like, oh, let's go check out what the heck that is. It looked like it was a couple miles away. It looked nearer than far. So we jumped on our bikes. I don't remember if we told our parents at all. Probably not. We took off. Me on my gold Schwinn.
I
That
knew
is
it.
Exactly.
I knew he had a Schwinn.
Giant sissy bar. My brother had a purple one. We took off like crazy. We used to jump over hills and run around, do skids, see if we could ride no-handed all the time or stand up on it, whatever. And we followed this thing, trying to get after this smoke trail. Couldn't find it. By the time we got 3 or 4 miles away, there was no more smoke in the air, and we're like, damn, we're going to have to go home. The end. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what happened. So we were at this riverbed near the shore, and there was a trail along this riverbed, so we thought we'd take a ride down that trail away from where we were going originally. And as we took off down this trail, it got darker and the forest got denser, and the rivers there, this wasn't a raging river or anything like that. It wasn't even that wide, maybe 15, 20 feet wide, but it had enough flow to it. And every now and then we'd come across, and this trail was like an old truck or car path where it had 2 trails next to each other and a ridge in between of grass growing. So it was frequented enough to continue to have ruts. But on our bikes, we took off, we were riding down this thing. We came to this house, and this was 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was dark in the woods. Dark. No rain coming or anything like that, but it was very dark. And we saw this old barn / garage. We didn't really know what it was. In a house off in the distance. When I say distance, I mean like 30, 40 feet away from the riverbed. So we parked our bikes, laid them down, and we walked through the woods, up the hill, muddy hill, to this barn. And I'll never forget it, looking in the barn. The very first thing we saw was a hangman's noose hanging there from the middle of this barn, all by itself, nothing but a noose. I remember like it was yesterday, because we turned around, we started looking for our bikes. We couldn't find them. They weren't where we left them. And we're like, what's going on? We don't understand this. We weren't 20 feet away from where we left these bikes, and they weren't there. And I remember turning back toward this house and toward this barn. Honestly, it was like they changed. It was like they were still old, but they weren't as old. It was like they looked almost newer. And we crept back up the hill to this barn. We looked inside it again. There was nothing there. Some hay, bales of hay and stuff off in the side of the barn, but there's no noose anymore. And we snuck all the way up to the edge of this house. And it had this little back porch, like some wooden steps up to the back of this porch. And it had a screen to try to get into this small kitchen that was there. And there was somebody in the kitchen. We could see through this open window somebody in the kitchen. Have no idea who it was or why somebody was there. And I remember looking over at my brother and him looking back at me, and our eyes were both wide as saucers. And we just said, we got to get the hell out of here. And we took off running back toward the river. And as we got down to the edge of the river, suddenly our bicycles were there again. It was one of the weirdest things that have ever happened to me. There's an extended story about this same place that I've told before. But that's as far as I'll go today on this. But my whole point in this is that We have things happen to us in the middle of dreams, in the middle of the day, that go unexplained, except that our imagination continues to promote them. The question I have is that imagination promoted by something real, or do we start that? I believe it's a little of both.